Thank you all for tuning in, but we are coming back in here with the top 4 match. Only 2 more rounds to go. And we have had Jonathan on stream today. And we've had Noel from yesterday, Ryan, and it looks like these two juggernauts are going to be showing us a red matchup between themselves. Obviously, 2 completely different leaders, but both players proven absolute excellent in their own rights on stream yesterday and today. And this is going to be an exciting one, Ryan.
Yeah, we knew we were going to get here at some point. The Red Sea was going to engulf us eventually, but it's nice to get a couple of different leaders going up against each other. Not necessarily a mirror match. Both of these decks have different play styles, and they're jumping straight into it. So the Gordon on the field immediately just to get the value for the 1 Don, and passing over to Jonathan.
And yeah, so Noel, I think because he was higher ranked in the standings, gets to go first here. And he doesn't really mind that either, because he does get to go play the Gordon first, and then Jonathan, obviously, for his turn 1. I don't think I've not seen Jonathan play the Altart Nami on turn 1.
Yeah, he has been lucky in finding it. And like you said, there's a lot of value in having that higher place seeding, just being able to decide if you want to go first or second in these important matchups.
It's going to be interesting to see.
And worth noting, so the other game in top 4 is the Whitebeard versus Kid, which Kid has a decent matchup into the Whitebeard, just with inherently being able to attack twice onto that lead.
And speaking of nice matchups here, Jonathan being able to pull off the 2 Nami on turn 1, grabbing the Jet Pistol and the Sunny Kun, which is fantastic start. And we've seen the way Jonathan has played before, still able to get obviously such value from these 1-drop Namis, even after they've been summoned and they've used their top 5 effect. And Noel doing the old classic heat check, just swinging 5 with lead, and then starting his actual proper turn after that. So Curly comes down, looking at the top 5, grabbing his own Altart Nami, and the price of this card is going to start going up the more that we see red.
Yeah, that's like $900 on the board worth of Namis.
Can't tell from Noel's leader if it's the starter pre-release, but we've obviously got the Altart Zoro as well. So if it is the max rarity field going on at the moment, that would be amazing.
Yeah, looking at Noel's hand and what we saw yesterday, he had a lot of Altarts, so I'd be pretty confident in saying that that's the super pre-release Luffy as well. It's a shame he wasn't able to open up his serial Luffy and switch those ones in.
That would have been the ultimate flex, right? That would have been crazy. Maybe after this, he'll be able to take it to events. And here comes Rush Zoro from Jonathan, another Altart. They're both players are saying, if it's not Altart, I don't want to see it.
But yeah, just a 6k swing. No confident in taking those life down to 3, building up his hand a little bit more. And now we see the kind of trade board for board, as Noel probably wants to look to try and remove this Zoro character.
Yep. Swinging with lead, 5k. Just going to try and get a card out of Jonathan's hand, because he is probably going to start focusing on trying to remove it anyway. But if he gets an extra card out of Jonathan's hand in the process, he's going to be a lot happier in that aspect.
Absolutely, yeah. If this 5k does remove the Zoro, you're happy with that. But getting a card out of hand is fine too, especially with the Gordon that can minus the Zoro by 3, and suddenly that Curly can attack into it if he wants.
I wouldn't be shocked if he does, right? Obviously, he's got Otama in his hand as well, but he did find the Jet Pistol in there. Speaking of Otama, and Noel not opting to attach the rested Don onto the Rush Zoro, just swinging 5 for 5. Very interesting here.
Yeah.
I guess seeing that Jonathan did use a 2k to get out of that 1k differential, feels like he probably doesn't
Yeah,
have a 1K, right? He just knows that if he does attach that rested Don, it's probably going to be wasted anyway. So I think this is the right play. And yeah, look at that. Jonathan opting, don't worry about it.
definitely. Yeah, I think once Noel saw that 2K come out to protect, he knew that Jonathan's hand probably just wasn't the greatest, and that a 5K attack into the Zoro again was either going to get more value than a 6K attack, and he's able to use his Don enough to deal the damage. And I think another Gordon may have come down as well.
Yeah, it's hard to see from that glare itself, but he did
Yeah.
tap one to bring a card down
Looking
and
at
then
his
just
hand,
pass.
yeah,
Yeah.
he did have another Gordon, so I'm confident to say there's two on the field. We see the two Masked Juice in hand for Noel as well, a card that really doesn't get seen very often. Does have a similar effect to what a Robin does, but offers a 2K counter. Masked Juice being able to just KO, I believe it's a 2K or less for two Don investment, as opposed to the 3K that Robin provides.
And this is the Nami that we were speaking about yesterday, and a card that I really think is underrated now and is going to definitely go up as more cards come out in the future sets, based on what we've already seen the leaks come through from Japan. The Don Nami that allows you to attach one rested Don to a leader or character. So pretty much the Luffy effect just on a character card, but obviously is easy to be moved with obviously certain cards, but still puts in so much work if it just sits there on the field after the turn that it's played, right?
Yeah, well, it gets value immediately, and now Jonathan gets to play with his leader effect and Noel's leader effect as well.
The old copy paste.
What you can do, I can do better.
It does. We were speaking about this. It does take up a slot, obviously, in the 5 character slot that's only available on the board. So
Mm,
the Nami does have to sit there and use that. And in decks like Rush Zoro and stuff like that, you do want to go wide quickly and then swing with what you have. And that Nami isn't really ever going to be swinging. So it is a bit of a give and take situation with that Nami.
And we see the Whitebeard in Noel's hand that he just drew as well.
Unable to play it this turn just yet, but he will be able to play it next turn. I mean, he does have a
Yeah,
couple more
Jonathan
Rush
just doing a
Zoros.
great job.
Mm.
Yeah, he had a few, didn't he? Yeah.
And Jonathan's hand looking like he has 4 cards available with 3 life. So about double the hand size for Noel. Board size
Mm,
exactly the same. And Jonathan now he's just dwindling him down. There's the 3 coming down. Gonna swing into it. Again, hasn't used the rested Don as of yet. Might have a plan for it
mhm.
in the next phase, but putting this immense pressure on Jonathan right now, and yeah, Jonathan either having to take or like really reducing his hand size now to next to nothing.
Yeah, I think Noel's just seeing the value of these multiple 5K swings. We'll see the 5K swing on the Nami as well here. And it's something that Zoro can put a lot of pressure uh, in most matchups with just multiple 5K swings. But Noel just expertly managing his Don to get as many 5K swings as he can, especially when it was revealed earlier a couple of turns ago that Jonathan just didn't have a lot of 1K counters. So he's either forced to take or he's forced to use these 2K counters, as we see with the Brook.
Absolutely, and that's knowing just the matchup that you're coming up against, right? Like that is having that heads up play, knowing that
Mm,
you are your opponent runs these 2 costs. Obviously, both players were on stream yesterday. Don't know if that makes an effect where they watch back the VODs and try to get a bit more information. They could have even versed yesterday for all we know, depending on the matchups that they came across.
mhm.
But just knowing the fact that red does run about 10 to 15 2 costs in deck at all times, you're going to assume that
Yeah,
they
we got
have
7 cards in Noel's hand.
one or two in hand at all times, right? So, but yeah, Noel's hand looking really
Mm,
healthy right now. Both players on 2 life. Jonathan obviously sitting on 3 cards. I think it is in hand.
mm. Yeah, the lighting is a bit difficult to see some of the cards towards the side. We do have a Nami rested in that fourth character spot, and then another one drop Gordon on the far right.
And Nami swinging
So we
into
see Jonathan just
Nami.
trying to clear,
Yeah.
yeah, just trying to clean up this board a little bit more, just to prevent those 5k attacks that he's putting so much work in against Jonathan right now.
I'm a bit interested that Jonathan chose to swing with the rested Don Nami instead of the other Nami.
Mm.
Because if Noel really does want to get rid of that, because it does put in a bit of work, um, yeah, he's
Yeah,
opted.
the Don Nami is a one drop 1k as opposed to
Yeah,
the one drop
yep.
2k that the searcher is. So it's easier for him to attack into the 5k leader with all the various effects that
Mm.
boost up the one drops. Markano boost by 3, Magro boost by 3. When you combine that with leader effect, then they become 6Ks. So you just get a little bit more value when attacking into lead with those cards. That might be why he just chose to keep that one around.
And now you can see Jonathan starting to swing in
Hmm.
with his other Nami. So had plans for all of them, just opting to choose which one
Yep.
kind of goes where. Never a dead card on field for most red players. And now
Yeah,
just
but
choosing to
still just trying
go
to push that
8.
damage through.
Yeah.
Mm.
And a very awkward spot because, yeah, he's swung 8 at lead, obviously having to get rid of 2Ks.
Hmm. Still 6 cards in hand for Noel.
Mm.
And an 8k swing here again.
You almost feel like you might take this as Noel.
I think if he decides to counter out of this, he's showing that he's going to play the Whitebeard SR the following turn.
Mm. Yeah, he takes it. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes it. Perhaps still might go down that route if he has enough counter power that he feels that he can still defend against anything that's threatening.
And now Gordon just going to swing and start putting in some of this return fire that obviously Jonathan was able to do. Has everything pretty much
Yeah,
rested.
there's the Whitebeard.
And then there's the Whitebeard SR. So the beauty about the Whitebeard SR here is as well that Luffy leader can actually still attach that rested Don. Yep. So it does get the extra effect now, and you can see Noel starting to really clear up the board that Jonathan's got. And not only that, he's going to be able to keep his leader at 7 next turn. And with the card advantage that Noel does have in hand, probably feels comfortable enough that he's going to be able to get out of this next turn and not really invest too much.
Yep, absolutely. With 2 attacks that need to go through just to deal lethal, with the counter power that he has in hand and being at a base 7, he's pretty confident that he can live through this turn. And with that Whitebeard SR, it's going to be very difficult for him to counter out of whatever attacks coming the following turn from Noel. Very well played though at just being able to control the board of any real threat from Jonathan,
Yeah.
being able to get value for all of his Don. We saw when to use the leader effect onto the 2Ks with the combination of the 2 Don he had left to have a 5K attack. It's just played it amazingly.
From this point where we're sitting here, Ryan, who takes this?
Oh, I think Noel's in more than a comfortable position right now.
Playing the Whitebeard SR and giving himself the extra 2K for his turn. For his
Yeah.
opponent's turn, yeah.
He's put Jonathan down to 1. We've seen so many 2Ks come out of hand from Jonathan over the course of the game. Yeah, and we just know that Red has a lot of cards that don't have counter power. They run a lot of event cards as well. And Jonathan really trying to push through here. This is a 10k attack. Noel's more focused on the 5 Don that Jonathan has left inactive
Yeah.
at best. it could be a 7k Luffy swing, an 8k Zoro swing. So just not a lot that can really deal damage. And for two cards out of hand to mitigate that attack,
Laughing.
yeah.
And now Jonathan in such a tight spot where Noel obviously needs two swings to come through. He's got the Whitebeard SR, and he has the Luffy leader that he can obviously swing twice with. Just, two 12k swings if he really wants, even more. One can go to 13 and one can go to 12.
The Don separation.
Yeah. And if Jonathan doesn't sure, swinging into the Gordon, I don't think that's really going to do anything here. But yeah, Noel trying to get a good read on Jonathan's hand, right, is seeing 5 cards in hand. Even if all of them are 2Ks, that's 10K combo power. So you'll be able to get rid of one swing. Obviously, there is an opportunity that there could be a guard point in there as well.
Yeah. But this chopper just gets checked by
he doesn't care. He does not care.
But what it does force is it forces the Whitebeard to swing first with a minimum of 2. But if that damage does get taken, then the rest of the Don will most likely just go under the leader. And
I don't think you're upset about that, though. I think Noel was planning to put a couple under Whitebeard anyway and trying to really do it. So now Jonathan loses the card from hand, and that gives Noel a little bit more knowledge.
Yep. And Jonathan leaving a couple of Don inactive, perhaps just trying to bait some kind of event card. But yeah, it isn't there. Noel
Absolutely.
Takes this one pretty
13K. Yeah, that's it. That's done. Noel takes game number 1.
Yeah.
Pretty convincingly, and you didn't really get to see Jonathan play anything that wasn't really like a 1-drop on that game, right? He had the 3 Namis or 4 Namis by the end of it, actually. Then he had the chopper blocker. He had a Vista that obviously put in a little bit of work. Gordon as well. Otama came out, but it was really just not a spot
nothing
where
too threatening. We saw one Zoro kind of rush Zoro come down, and that was kind of the highlight of his offense, really.
Yeah, the extent of it, all the pressure that he really got to put on, right? It wasn't Noel seeing that and knowing that Jonathan had 3 cards left in hand on that last turn. And being able to get out of that leader swing too, right? He could have taken that if he really wanted to, Noel. No problem whatsoever. And still went for game next turn, but it's just the chopper really gave Noel the insight of my opponent has nothing. If he plays it incorrectly and he doesn't swing with Whitebeard first, I do have a chance. But Noel is at the top 4 tables for a reason.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was so precise with his plays throughout the game. It would have been out of character for him to see a blunder like that in that last turn.
Absolutely. I'm going to see now who gets to go first. Obviously, both players don't mind going first here again. We've obviously spoken about this multiple times, Ryan. As a red player, you don't mind going first. Second, you just want to find your pieces. I got a quick glimpse at Noel's hand. I don't know if I saw that correctly. I did see the rush Luffy, but it looked like he had 3 Otamas in hand, or maybe Makino as well. Yeah, it didn't really look like he had much to work with for the first couple of turns, but I mean, he's keeping, so he must have seen something that I didn't. Definitely did have a jet pistol in there as well. But the way that Jonathan plays, you don't really care too much about. Well, you don't really have anything that gets much value out of the jet pistol, right? Like we just spoke about, everything's like a 1 cost.
Yeah, it's such a big Don investment to try and remove them, so you're not too fussed.
Jonathan not liking what he saw. Going for the mulligan. Always dangerous here. Going for the full mulligan. You don't obviously get another shot. You don't get to keep any cards and then put the remaining back into the deck. They don't go to the bottom. You get a full shuffle. You can see the exact 5 cards again. Or you might see absolutely next to nothing that you wanted to see in the first place. And looks like Jonathan is going to opt to go first. Noel is going to put 2 Don down straight away.
He's ready to get into it.
Yeah, both players knowing exactly what's going to come, right? And there's the Don Nami, not the Search Nami, for Jonathan. And we'll see if Noel's got a response here, and it's a curly, yeah.
And this could have been why he decided to keep his hand, just having something to be able to play on his first turn and something that can mitigate some of Jonathan's low power
Yeah.
characters that come on the field.
Yep. We'll see what happens now on turn three, turn two, sorry, 3 Don. Normally, you do see a lot of Zoro players sometimes put one under lead and then play a curly for the other two, or
Mm,
maybe one
Even a
Nami.
Robin would be good.
Yeah, even a Robin, possibly Vista if he wants to get rid of the curly. But very interesting to see what you want to do on this because with 3 Don for a red player as well, so many possibilities of like what you can do. And just going for the rush
Yep,
Zoro and then using the Nami ability. Nice. Gonna get 2 6K swings here very early
yep,
for Jonathan. Oh,
yep.
oh,
Oh,
oh man.
he does still take the
He
life. Had that been the
does.
leader swing first, that would have been
Yep.
punishing. But
Yep.
it's just one less thing that he has to swing into now. A very nice kind of jet pistol. And we saw in game one that Noel was comfortable to go down to 3 life very early anyway. So the result is almost the same, but he just doesn't have to commit anything to try and remove that character Zoro.
Another curly coming down.
Looks like another curly. Yep.
Mm, he grabs this. Is that the search Nami? I can't really tell from the Machina.
I can know.
And Noel using these curlies and the leader effect to such value. These cards
Hmm.
we speak about them previously, where like they're kind of like the one and done. You play them, you're able to kind of like get the effect off them, and then they still kind of sit there. But being able to attach one rested Don after you've done something else to make them a natural 4K, it's
Hmm.
so good in this deck.
It did look like there was a jet pistol on Jonathan's trigger as well, but opted not to use it.
Mm,
Nothing really of value worth popping on Noel's side of the field. But we're going to see this Don Nami just continue to gain value
yeah.
since the first turn that it's gotten played. Just being able to add that extra Don to the leader. Uh, you know, Zoro constantly just has one Don less to work with, but that Nami just mitigates that. And Jonathan probably just having a bit of a tough time trying to decide, do
Yeah.
I try and focus on the board that Noel's doing so well with it swinging 5k at me, or do I continue with my game plan and just continue to swing life and get him down?
I think the
The hand
important
size
thing,
is starting to get a bit of separation between the two.
yeah, and the important thing here is the curly needs to go. There's no
Yeah,
doubt
Jonathan
about it.
recognizing that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Frees up your leader swing to try and deal some more damage. And it's just a big old AK swing. And again, it's just this battle of the one cost and two cost character cards
Yeah.
just constantly swinging into each other and just getting so much value. We've got Gordon swinging into Nami. We saw a Vista in Noel's hand that's able to just completely remove this Sunnykun as well.
And there's the rush Luffy. Finally, a bigger body coming out on
Mm.
the board, and going to start now putting work in. And
Still hasn't used his leader effect, so we could see another 5k swing.
it will
Yep.
be.
Yep.
Again, the
Just
curly,
valuing multiple attacks
uh,
over these big stronger attacks.
tall bodies. And again, the curly putting in so much work, like identifying that there. And Jonathan, again, I either take this or I lose another card from hand. And Noel really identifying the position that his opponent's in and the pressure he's putting on. Let it be to
Mm.
life or let it be to like the actual state of the game. So
A bit of insight into Jonathan's hand. We've got the jet pistol and a Tama and two Whitebeard altarts. So some big heavy hitters to play down, but
another
yeah, opts
Atama.
to get the another 2k being used to mitigate these 5k attacks. And more information for Noel into the inside of Jonathan's hand. Still early, or we're kind of into the mid game here, but Noel in a bit of a similar position to how it was in game one. And we saw the aggression that Jonathan was able to put on early and just how well Noel was able to mitigate that towards the end of the game. He built up his hand. He knew when to successfully counter out of the cards and when to take those last couple alive, and was just slowly chipping away at Jonathan's hand and getting those 2Ks out for these 5K attacks.
Mm. And now Sunny Kun swinging into the Dadan, knowing that he has to obviously put it in, and because it's virtually free to swing with that Sunny Kun, why not? Double Mask
Yep,
Deuce comes out
yep. We see the
again.
counter out. We'll
Mm.
most likely see a jet pistol here to remove that 6k Luffy.
And just a soft
And
reset now.
yeah, a bit of a slow turn,
Mm.
for Jonathan. Noel still has a pretty decent sized hand. Gordon is able to check the Sunny and save the leader attack. And we just see so much counter power in Noel's hand as well. Do you think we see a couple of 5k swings again?
Oh, absolutely. I know Noel identifies the position that Jonathan is in. I'm just trying to look at his hand and
Mhm.
see what it is that he actually has available. Obviously Jonathan
Yeah,
has
we've got
four
three
cards.
marker
Noel
nodes.
has 8. Yeah, not really anything that Noel can play here to continue to put pressure on. I mean, if he
There's
wants
the
to
Red Hawk.
Vista,
Mhm.
get rid of the Sunny Kun, like, I don't really know if that's really worth it. If you Vista here, you got to remember as well, like, sure, you're paying 3 for it. You do get rid of the Sunny Kun, but you also end up paying 2 in the long run because you use the leader effect to take back one of those Don and use it somewhere else, right? So effectively it becomes a 2 cost.
Mhm. Yep, and it gives you a little bit more Don to put onto these to the leader and character card.
Mm,
But opting to swing the 5k into the Sunny, just trying to
he
see
must have another
if
plan.
Jonathan wants to
Yeah.
save it. Yeah.
Yeah, smart. Getting the free Don after playing the Gordon,
Yep.
then opting to put 5 underneath and start putting this pressure on. And with Jonathan having nothing on the board, Noel feels comfortable again being able to, put 5 Don underneath his card and swing. Putting Jonathan in a
Hmm.
really uncomfortable position where you're either going to counter or you're going to take that life. And it feels really bad, like putting 5 Don under there. But at the same time, you don't really care because if Jonathan got the insight of what is in Noel's hand, you could tell he really had nothing else to do.
Yep. Yeah. We've got three Gordons on the field for Luffy. They're all the one drop Gordon. And yeah, Red Hawk comes down, mitigates that 7k attack, and all three Gordons survive. That can neg this Whitebeard down to a 1k for Vista to pop. Perhaps this
Yeah.
was Noel's plan all along.
I mean, if that was, well, actually, not even because now he's just. Oh, he's going to get the
Yeah,
full
you swing
effect
a
out of
lead,
it. Yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
value. Yeah, you get value
Absolutely.
for the Gordon. Get a card out of hand, and now we're just going to see multiple minuses on the Gordons and mitigate that Whitebeard that he just committed 9 Don into playing. Don't even bother putting the dice on. You're going to remove it.
Unreal.
Yeah, that is such a high level play, and then gets the value. It's a 7k attack. We're going to get a damage done or a card out of hand.
And Jonathan obviously spent that whole turn virtually there, right? So what he had to do was obviously he plays the and an army on top to boot.
Nami search. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So using 9 to play the Whitebeard, swinging with lead, um, getting nothing out of it, and Noel getting one card out of hand because he attached them all to Gordon. The triple Gordon neg with the Vista that was in there. Vista will be able to swing next turn if he wants to, and then just putting more pressure on the 7k swing with the leader, being able to search Nami as well, and you just see the difference in terms of how much both decks can do with the same Don.
Yeah, and Jonathan almost needs to play another Whitebeard SR just to establish another big body on the field.
Absolutely agree. He's in a spot now where if Jonathan doesn't end up playing a blocker or something that's going to help him defend next turn, because Jonathan can't go for game here. And he does have a Whitebeard SR. That is very lucky to see. And then now you probably just go for the AK swing. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Opting to counter out of this. Yep.
Noel can't really go for game here. That's one thing that Jonathan probably feels a little bit comfortable with.
Yep.
Just giving him another turn to reset, considering that, it's a necessary evil that he had to play the Whitebeard SR last turn to get rid of the 3 Gordons. And the fact that he had 2, he probably feels comfortable enough to be able to do so. And I think Noel is just trying to math something out here, attaching the 6 Don underneath Vista, swinging him for 9. Obviously does get past Zoro's 7. See if Jonathan grabs anything good from here. Just on
I think it is just the 2 9k attacks that he wants to he wants to get through. He wants to guarantee both of these life get taken and that he can go for game next turn. It's going to be difficult for Jonathan to push for game here. Obviously, he needs 3 attacks to connect, so he does need to play some kind of rush onto the field, which will eat up a minimum of 3 Don. And if Noel can get out of at least one of those attacks, then he'll be able to probably close out the next turn. But it just depends whether Jonathan feels like he can go for game here.
And Noel did show he did have a 2k counter. Yeah, he did have a 2k counter in hand. I believe the other one was maybe a jet pistol. I saw it quickly before he ended up putting his cards down.
We've got a jet pistol, the Makino, and I believe there was a 1k counter as well.
Yeah, so, and depending on what he grabs from that last 2 life, right? Like that's still the question mark. He's going to check. He's just trying to figure out how many 2Ks have you actually used. Obviously, no Don available for Noel, so can't use any events, but that's a pretty stacked drop from Noel.
You see a lot of Markinos there. Yeah. You see a lot of Markinos there. We've got a couple of Mars juiced. I don't think Noel's used any Atamas yet, so they could be still roaming around, but we've still got a lot of 2Ks still roaming around, but Jonathan's put in a position where he almost has to go for game here. There isn't any kind of situation where he can defend the following turn, I don't think, not with the cards that he has available in hand. So it's just about his management of Don here. And it looks like we're going to go for a 9k attack. That'll be a take there. We'll probably see the Rush Zoro come down for another 9. And then a 11k attack onto the Whitebeard.
Ooh, he did find another 1k, yeah. So 11k he needs to get out of here, and Noel
doesn't
have it. Wow.
Yeah. So mathed that out very well from Jonathan and was put in a position where he had to go from game there. The double Whitebeard definitely kept him in the game.
Absolutely. And that brings us to 1-1 with 25 minutes left in this top 4 matchup, and it really did look grim for Jonathan at one stage. Obviously, Noel getting the full Gordon effect, obviously into the Vista, just clearing off the first Whitebeard with literal ease.
Yeah, yep. I've never seen three Gordon getting negged in the one turn into a Vista to pop a
Yeah,
Whitebeard.
yep. But the fact that Jonathan obviously had the second one as well made it available. And Noel's hand size by the start of Jonathan's turn ended up going down to 3 cards himself. So it was really like a turn of events there, where that was exactly what happened in game number 1, where Jonathan's hand size was quite minimal. Then Noel ended up having the same situation here, taking the last 2 life and still not having enough to really get out of that. But Jonathan identifying that, looking through his drop, seeing how many Markinos we used, Mask Deuce we used, and realizing that, look, if he's got 3 or 4 2Ks in his hand, like, fair play to you. But the chances are, since you've used so many, and there are other cards that you'd like to run in there with events and 1Ks, there is a chance you don't have it. And yeah, that's the reason why we're going to a game 3.
Yeah, everything on the line here. Now Noel gets the option to go first or second.
And Jonathan opting to go full mulligan again, not liking what he saw. Noel not giving us any indication of if he's going first or second as well. So was quick to snap those 2 Don on the pregame for the last game, but not showing us anything more than what we've got.
Yeah, 3 red decks in top cut. We've obviously got the Zoro and Luffy on screen here, and then the other match, we've got a
Whitebeard
Whitebeard versus a starter Kid. No, he's ready. He finds the Nami, ready to jump into it.
Rush Zoro and Jet Pistol from the top 5. Grabs a Zoro instead. Feels
Takes
like,
the Zoro.
again, yeah, the pistol is not something that you really need to worry about. Again, Jonathan plays a lot of weenies. Obviously was very valuable for him in that previous game, but feeling like he's more comfortable. And wow, 1-cost chopper to block an attack, and then the Sunny Kun. If Noel has a Vista here, he might just instantly go for it. Doesn't look like he does. Otherwise, he would have played it first and then attached the rest of Don to lead. And Jonathan just opting
We
to
could
take that
potentially
life.
see him leave 2 Don up to get some value. No, there it is. So he
No,
plays.
I think it's the Nico Robin.
Ah, right. Yeah, okay. We haven't seen that card utilized by either of these players in game
No, not at all. Yeah, I can't really see it, but I don't know another card that he would have paid 3 for after swinging with lead. I would assume it's that. It's not a Rush Zoro, otherwise you would have swung with it. I would imagine, but could very well be a Rush Zoro, to be quite honest. Just opting to not leave it in rest on his opponent's turn. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was a Nico Robin.
Nico
Yeah,
Robin's
so
gone. Yeah.
negs it down.
And Jonathan
Vista comes
just
in.
recognizing. Yeah, Jonathan recognizing how powerful that card is and just forcing his hand into removing it. But that is, again, 2 cards being utilized to remove 1 from Noel, especially a 2K counter. And now we see these 5K attacks just, again, get so much advantage for Noel, especially when it just reveals information about the counters that Jonathan has available.
Yeah.
Foil Atamas and Altart Namis. Jonathan is definitely committed to playing this Zoro deck.
They're nice as well, aren't they? They're very, very nice looking cards.
Oh yeah, the judge cards look amazing. So he doesn't have 2 Don underneath the Luffy, so Chopper can block. They were just clarifying that there wasn't another Don available.
Now Jonathan,
and that is a 6K on the field.
Yeah, yeah. And Jonathan's position right now is feeling a lot more comfortable than you would have imagined in game 1 or 2 at the same position that he was in.
Yeah. Couple more attackers that can easily start being 5k attackers for just one Don investment onto the Sunny and the Vista. And perhaps he can do a little bit of a role reversal here and start 5k checking Noel and getting
Yeah.
some cards out of his hand.
But instead going for the Luffy and still managing to get the 2K out of the hand there, 6 into 6.
Yeah,
Very happy with that if you're
yeah.
Jonathan.
We see the Mugro in hand as well. Could potentially boost up this Sunny-kun. But opts to swing 6 again. Saw the Atama come out.
Gets rid of it.
Yep. Rush Zoro, perhaps. Yeah.
Now
Very
Noel.
nice turn from Jonathan. Being
Yeah,
able to just,
feeling the pressure. Quick check 5 into 5.
5k into the Zoro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just wants to see if he can get that card out of Jonathan's hand. And it's very, very stock standard now to swing 5 with lead instantly, just to see if you can bait anything out. And wow, Jonathan's going to let that one go.
Yep. He'll probably try and use the Nami to clean up the Sunny as well, just with the amount of cards that we'll see that attack first before giving Jonathan another card from life. Again, just so difficult to protect these cards on the field. And I dare say we'll probably see the 2 Don left inactive for the Red Hawk that Noel has in hand.
Yeah, there goes Sunny-kun. So nice board mitigation here from Noel. And after all that, getting rid of the Zoro, getting rid of the Sunny-kun, obviously getting him to take a life. And that leaves Noel with 2 Don active still.
Yep. Access to that Red Hawk just to be able to KO something that Jonathan does play on the field. Can potentially hit the Vista if there's not Don put underneath it as well as the leader. And I don't believe we've seen the Red Hawk being revealed at all in game 1 or 2. So Jonathan may just forget about it and not try and play around. Says his prayers. A bit more counter power in Jonathan's hand this time around to what we've seen in the last few games. Obviously, we saw like the Whitebeard SRs and the Jet Pistols clog up almost both players' hands towards the end of game 1 and 2.
And again, getting into this position where both players really taking their time to think about the most beneficial method of playing their turns.
Yeah, there's still a fair bit of time on the clock.
Oh, yeah, this won't go for another 16 minutes. No, not at all.
Yeah. It's just now, how do you best remove this Rush Luffy? Boosting up the Atama, making it a 4k attack in combination with the lead. We've seen some unique plays in this best of 3 compared to some of the other ones we've had over yesterday and today.
I'm glad to see these players thinking outside of the box or trying to figure out their best method of identifying the problems of their opponent's deck and really pushing it to them, right? Like pushing the envelope here and trying to make sure that this might not be orthodox. This might be something that you don't normally see, but I feel like I have to do this, and we spoke about it in, I think it was I actually can't remember if it was this game or the previous game about the combo that they used to save the Nico Robin. How it kind of like was a detriment to the rest of the game. I think it was last game. Sorry, last
Yeah, that
round.
was with the kid matchup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
and
normally again.
we see double Mugra onto the Atama. There was a 7k attack into the Luffy that just gets checked by the Red Hawk. And now Jonathan has to commit his leader swing into trying removing this Luffy, which is going to
Hmm.
invest more Don. It'll be interesting to see whether Noel tries to commit into protecting this into
Plays
what could
plays the
be a
Brook
8k.
instead.
Yep, yeah, just to get another body on the field and to get that Don to remove the Luffy. And now Brook offers another 5k attacker just with one Don the following turn.
I mean, he cleaned his board, right? Like now, Jonathan's looking at 4 bodies on board, can swing into almost any of these or half of these.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't be shocked to see both players on 3 life here. So still very comfortable position for both players. Not going the super aggressive, just making sure that they can focus on their later turns and the board presence and what's coming. And it actually looks like, as I say that, Noel swinging into life with 7 for Rush Zoro. Yep.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need to worry about the Atama. It's going to be very difficult for him to boost that up again to deal another damage.
Mm.
Just opts to play the Gordon and the Robin. Very little counter power left in Noel's hand though. We see 2 event cards and a Masked Juice. So again, a lot of 5k attacks into that lead is going to be very punishing, but I'm sure we'll see Jonathan try and clear up this character Zoro.
Just really thinking about his.
And this is it. We're getting into kind of the tipping point of which player is going to be able to take control. Obviously, this is 3. This is you don't get any takebacks. There's no next game to try and recover. This is it. One mistake can definitely cost you this best of 3 series. We see the 5k attack. So much information revealed by countering out of that with that Masked Juice, but Noel just opting to let it go.
That's the thing. You don't know what's coming, so you can't comfortably combo
Mm.
out of that and just be like, I need to save that because he will swing with leader into it again, and then you've lost card advantage and board as well. So
Yeah, but Jonathan are in a really comfortable position right now with a decent board that can put a lot of low cost attacks and still sitting on 2 life. So if he can get Noel down to 1 or potentially 0 life here, then he's in a really comfortable position the following turn to try and close out the game. We see the Zoro for a 7k attack, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Mugra attack into the lead as well. Oh, Radical Beam. Okay, yep. I knew you had the jet pistol. I didn't see that one. Robin will do a bit of a good job to try and clear up this board as well, especially in combination with the Gordon. You can minus the Zoro to swing the 5k into
mhm.
a Brook or something and pop the Zoro. More value off the Makino. But that is a 2k coming out of Jonathan's hand as well. And a very big swing to push that damage down.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that was a Zoro off life and a Zoro
It
off draw.
it did look like you got the
Yeah.
Zoros. Yeah. I mean, not the end of the world. He'll be able to play both, and then use one of those dons as well. So 5 don investment to swing and start trying to deal with this board presence that Jonathan's got. And then he also still does have the Nico Robin that survived.
Yeah, yeah, we see the minus. The Gordon attacking into the Makino. I'm sure we'll probably see the minus here as well.
Yep.
Oh, just the jet
Oh,
pistol.
jet
Okay, he's
pistol.
going to opt
Wow.
to clear up this entire field. I would assume. Yeah, so he's willing to take this to another turn. He's not going for lethal here.
I think that's a smart play. Jonathan's hand looking very thin again. It looks like 2 or 3 cards left in there. Noel can still play the rush Zoro if he wants to swing at the Brook. Oh, he's already swinging at the Brook with Nico Robin. And now Leader's just going to probably take out the last body on the board. And if he wants to go double Zoro rush, he can.
Yeah. $5k attack.
And if he gets a card out of Jonathan's hand, yeah, he's very happy. Very, very happy.
Yeah. Noel doesn't have the biggest hands. Especially if he commits this other Zoro here, leaving himself with 2 cards. If Jonathan is able to find a rush card here, like another Zoro, there could be a combination of Don that he can just go for game here.
Yep. I mean, if he finds a rush Zoro from either life, if he does swing here, or top deck, Jonathan will win this game on his next turn. He has opted to play the rush Zoro.
Out.
Yeah, he is thinking about if he's going to try and go for that last one. And
yeah, I think he's just deciding if he wants to attack with it.
He actually does swing with it, which is super interesting here. And Jonathan trying to figure out, like, again, if he doesn't find the rush on his turn, he loses.
Yeah.
He loses next turn if he doesn't find a rush on the next turn.
Yeah. Down to the wire.
Oh, absolutely. It all comes now to RNG. If I'm Jonathan, I take that and I take the top card from my deck and I just hope that one of them is a rush, because you're going to lose on your next turn regardless. You're staring at a board with 4 bodies on there, 2 Zoro rushes, and a Nico Robin. Like, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You might as well take the life.
You knew that there wasn't... Yeah. Yeah. You take both life in that situation. You know that there's no kind of threat of lethal, and he just doesn't find it. He's got nothing, no Nami to search. There's no way to push through both damage here. And it looks like Noel's going to take this one. Played very well from both sides, and just such a back and forth. But that board state just of Noel being able to stick around and continue to put pressure. I think Jonathan realizing now that there just is no way for him to defend the following turn. And yeah, I think he's... yeah, it's unfortunate, but you're probably best to just scoop it up here.
It is, and he's going to swing, and Noel does not care about this at all. He sees that you don't have the rush. You're swinging into my Zoro. That means you don't have anything, and now I'm just going to put 5 onto my... Oh, he's going to spread them out instead. Wow.
Yeah, we'll avoid any kind of jet pistol.
Yep.
Got a 5k attack, 7k. See the take there.
No!
Oh.
Oh my!
No.
If he
If
took
he had
the,
a
if
taken
he,
both
oh
those life,
man, oh man, oh man, that is disgusting. Oh, oh man,
wow.
like that is the biggest feels bad I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps, man. That is actually
He,
insane. Like, if you identify
he tried
that
to play
you,
it safe,
oh man, and you know, like I
but
said, you know that you're gonna lose.
there was no chance, there was no
Correct.
chance that he could have died on those two attacks when the Zoro came down.
Oh man, like literally,
You
like
take
what do
both
you?
life, you give
Oh,
yourself the best chance,
oh, wowie, wow.
and that knocks Jonathan out.
That's it. That's the top four game done. We're gonna see Luffy taking it into the finals. Noel piloting that like amazingly, and just identifying what he needed to do and what he was with. And guys, that is actually done and dusted. It looks like we are gonna go to a quick break. The timer is pretty much done. I don't know about the other round, but I'm guessing that one would be done very soon if it's not done now. But we're gonna chuck it over intermission. We'll be back in the next 5 or so minutes, and we are gonna have Noel taking on an unknown finalist. So stay around, tune in because we've got a beautiful best of three coming up for you very very shortly.